Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading for mid-May 2022. We're going to jump right in here, Scorpio, and we are going to see what is going on for you at this time. Right off the bat, I had a really strong feeling that this was, okay, we'll take this as well, why not? I had a feeling that this was going to be a good reading. And you do have some good stuff here. You have this Roots of Abundance card, Six of Wands so far. And we'll just see what comes up here, Scorpio. But let's see, before I open my mouth. Yeah, and you have the Empress card here. There's something, I feel like there's something that you're almost fearing, some sort of change here. And there could be some fears or worries. I think for like 50% of you, maybe somewhere around there, like half of you, it's like you're afraid whether or not you can handle it. Those are the words that are popping into my head. For others, I don't really have a good example here other than, it gives me the feelings of like, it's like the change between like two jobs, for example. It's like sometimes I think maybe we lose a job or we leave a job just because we don't like it. But like the next thing we get is actually significantly better, right? And that's what I feel like is going on here. I feel like if you're having any fears, doubts, or worries about a change that you're making right now, I feel what's on the other side is the Empress. Much better abundance and much easier. I'm not saying like, I don't think life should be easier. I actually encourage people to put themselves in difficult and hard positions. I do it every single day. And that's how we grow, right? It's like, I always tell people, if you're like lifting weights and you're only lifting a pen, it's like your muscles are only going to get so big. It's like if you don't lift heavier weights, you're not going to get any stronger. So that's why I encourage people to go through challenges. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's a good thing. But what I would say with that Empress card is I feel like if you're getting into a job, it's easy in the sense that you probably are just really good at it or you know how to do it, right? It's like, I feel like you know the ins and outs. And when we enjoy something, if you enjoy doing something that is difficult, there are plenty of things that I enjoy that are hard to do, but I enjoy it. So it makes it easier, right? And that's kind of like what I see here. I hope that makes sense. Where it's like some of you, I feel like this reading is talking about entering into a situation that it has maybe a better flow, or again, you just have a great understanding of it, and that's what makes it, quote unquote easy, is because you actually enjoy doing it. So I like this. I like where this is going, especially if you're like doing a job change or a business change. Same thing for love. It could be love. And again, I don't think love should be easy. I think that's part of the problem with modern day relationships is everybody just thinks like, oh, this person's supposed to make me happy or whatever. And then when they don't, you leave, right? And you don't work on it. Now, to me, the best relationships do require work because then you value it. You're like, oh my God, I put a lot of work into this, so I truly value it. And same with the other person, right? Especially if both people are working on it. But if this is love coming in for you, I feel like just a nicer energy, a nicer flow. It's like maybe you have arguments, but like everybody, but it actually gets somewhere. Where maybe you actually have an argument with a person, but you always find common ground, or maybe you have arguments, but you're okay disagreeing with that. Wouldn't that be amazing, right? Finding a person you can disagree with and still love that person, right? That would be amazing, wouldn't it? So there you go. You have the Three of Swords, Six of Wands, and Five of Wands. So the Three of Swords, I feel like is talking about just the gloomy, dusty energy that is going on right now. That's what I would say about that. I don't know. I feel dusty lately, and I came out to my car today, and there was about this much pollen on it. My eyes are driving me crazy right now. So maybe it's the pollen talking right now, Scorpio, but I don't know. I just feel the Three of Swords is more just talking about everything going on, the concerns and all this other stuff of the world. But you have the Six of Wands, so something's working in your life. Six of Wands is a card of accomplishment, and it's also a card of success as well. Part of me feels like, sometimes I think that some of us, maybe we have some beliefs or some ideas about life, and maybe we feel everyone believes something else, but really everyone believes what we believe, they just don't talk about it. I don't know why that's popping into my head here, Scorpio, but I feel on a personal level, there's like something that you're feeling, and it's like maybe you're not saying it, and but maybe you should say it. And again, I don't really have a good example. The only example I can give to you is that like my brother and I have been traveling quite a bit over the past couple months now. And we're about to travel again next month. And we're thinking about moving to a location, and it's a top secret location. And our whole entire trip, we kept saying, oh, none of the places we were visiting felt like this top secret location, right? That we're going to be potentially moving to. And neither one of us would just say, hey, why don't we move to that location, right? And then finally we did, and it's like, we kind of discovered that we both wanted to be there, even though we thought the other one didn't want to be there. And I kind of have that situation, maybe not that exact situation, but I feel for some of you, it's kind of like maybe you believe something, maybe your partner or your business partner or someone you work with also believes something, but it's like neither person is saying it. It's kind of a weird feeling that I have here. That I don't know. I know that's a little convoluted, but that might make sense to one of you. But I feel like if you just say something, it'll be so much easier. It reminds me, I always tell a story as well. I had a friend who rented an office building, and he wanted to get out of the office building basically, and he didn't want to stay there, but he was all afraid, like, he signed the contract with the person who owned it, and he built this crazy story up in his head. He was all concerned about it and everything like that. So finally he just came down to he just had to tell the guy, he's like, hey, I want to get out of this building. Sorry, I'll pay. He came up with all these things. He's like, I'll pay until you sell it to someone else or whatever. But all the other stuff. And the guy 2 seconds later was like, he's like, I'm actually kind of glad that you want to move out because I did just want to sell it. I didn't want to rent it to a person. And so it's like the guy wanted exactly what he did. They wanted the same thing, but he created all these crazy stories before he did it. I have a situation like that. I don't know if it's for all of you or just some of you, where it's like you could be creating these stories about something in your head, but it's like actually the other side wants exactly what you do. And I'm getting everything popping into my head here, Scorpio, where it's like you could be making something out to be a much bigger deal than it actually is. 5 of Wands, right? So pretty simple. But again, if you have any one of those situations in your life, then I feel like it's not a big deal for the other side, not going to be a big deal for you, and it could be anything. For a lot of you, again, I feel like it has to, could be, basically anything, really. Next, you have the Roots of Abundance card in this Rose's Kiss card. These two wanted to come out together. The Roots of Abundance is amazing. Definitely a card of abundance. The Rose's Kiss is about something that makes you special, something that could be a talent, gift, skill, or ability that could be abundant for you, obviously, Scorpio. You have the Empress here, so I do feel there could be a lot of abundance coming in for you through a talent, gift, skill, or ability. So I think it would be a good time for you to use your talents, gifts, skills, and abilities. You have the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Swords, and the Seven of Cups here. 7 of Cups is too much thinking. I do get a major overthinking energy for pretty much everyone right now. I think that there's just a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on around us. So I think that doesn't help, obviously. I think, in times of restriction or where we're concerned about money or inflation or whatever, it kind of creates more pressure. And that's what I feel here. But I feel like if you could just focus, you're actually going to end up very, very successful with this 7 of Cups. The Knight of Swords, I feel, is just saying don't jump to conclusions. Again, it's a card of second opinions to me. That's not what the Knight of Swords represents. But when I get the Knight of Swords, to me, it's kind of a clue that you should get a second opinion. Or, in this situation, it could say that maybe you're thinking that your life is going to go one way, but it's actually going to go the other. The Knight of Swords, he's trying to force things to happen. And I always tell people, it's like, if someone tells you, the reason to me he's a card of second opinions is if someone tells you, your card needs to be fixed, but it's going to cost you $1 million. It's like, obviously you should take it to someone else because, this can represent a person, especially in a situation where something costs money, where a person just don't know other ways to do it. So they might be, overcharging or whatever. So I kind of look at him as a card of second opinions, but for you, I kind of feel it's more like saying a different outcome. It's like you might expect an outcome to go one way, but really it's actually going to go another. The Knight of Wands, I feel like, is just saying enjoy the journey, kind of get to work here. I don't think people really necessarily understand how inspiration works. Sometimes it's people always ask me, they say I asked a question on the YouTube channel a while ago where I said, or a couple weeks ago where I said, if you were, to start something, what is preventing you from starting, basically? And a lot of people basically said the same thing, which was that they want to make sure that what they're doing is actually going to work. But I'm like, well, life doesn't work like that, number one. Number two, sometimes we have to discover what works. And so it's if he's going to start a business, he's perfectly okay just getting started and then finding what works. He's perfectly okay doing the research, kind of doing the work. He's very spontaneous. But it's if he were to start a YouTube channel, he would put out some videos. He would see what's doing best, and then he would continue doing what is working best, and then he would go from there. He would grow gradually. And I kind of feel that need for you here with this Knight of Wands, where it's like, if you don't get started, you're not going to find the inspiration to keep going, you know? So if you're thinking about starting anything, I would get moving here, Scorpio. Next, you have the 8th house, your house, Scorpio, and you have the Libra card, which says balance on it. This 8th house says mystery. I do feel with the thing about that Knight of Wands is that he has some pyramids behind him, and the Knight of Wands can represent mysteries, or kind of like looking into certain mysteries, looking into things that you don't understand or that are mysterious. Can also say there's like a lot of inspiration in mysteries and things that are mysterious to you, so that could be useful. You have the Libra card, and you also have the 6 of Pentacles here. Both cards to me are the answer to 2022, as you've probably heard me say like a million times in the past. You have the 6 of Pentacles here. 6 of Pentacles is like equal give and take, but it's also, you know, cause and effect. Libra, or even the Justice card in the tarot, is cause and effect. It's like, if I put energy into this business, into this person, do I get a result? If the answer is yes, keep going. If the answer is no, stop. You might think that's obvious, but number one, stacking things on the scale to get started is where most people stop. They don't even get there. They don't even get to that point of starting, right? So it is obvious, but it's not at the same time, because most people don't even try to figure out what works and what doesn't. So I feel it's a great time for experimentation. Part of me believes, I did a collective the other day, and part of me believes that the reason this is happening is because of Neptune and Pisces. I don't think it's because of Neptune and Pisces. I think Neptune and Pisces is really good for discovery, discovering new ways of doing things, being innovative, or coming up with new things in general. The same thing with Uranus and Taurus as well. It's actually, Uranus and Taurus is a very innovative energy. So I feel we have the opportunity to discover things that work better than whatever we've been doing our whole entire life in love, business, money, spirituality, health, pretty much everything. But we have to realize it. You have the 2 of Wands. He is looking at the world in front of him. He's not really looking at the world that is in his hands. He thinks he knows everything. You know, that's the whole point of the 2 of Wands, is that he's looking out in front of him. He thinks he knows that this is all that he's capable of creating or having, but really he has the whole world in his hands. He's capable of so much more. And that's what I feel like is true for you, because look, your outcome is the Empress. Total abundance, total success, just, you know, good things coming in for you. So I feel like there's a lot of abundance and success coming in for you with the Empress here, and I really, really like that. I also feel like there is a sense of ease here, where, again, is it easy? What you're falling into here, I'd say not necessarily, but I feel like it's easy for you because you understand it, just like I said at the beginning of the reading. Let's clarify. With the 2 of Swords, the 3 of Swords, you have the Tower. Some of you could have had a surprise separation or a surprise breakup here. I actually feel like it's probably part of your story, multiple separations here, not just love either. I feel like some of you have been going through these change cycles where things have been changing kind of like, you know, quickly in your life. Maybe people are leaving your life or have left your life very quickly. But I would also say it's not just people. There have been other things that have left your life as well. With the 6 of Wands, you have the Ace of Pentacles. A lot of success coming in for you here, Scorpio. But it's going to be something that requires work. Again, the Ace of Pentacles needs to be nurtured into existence. You know, it's like Ace of Pentacles is something that has potential, but you need to put the work in to make it happen here. With the 5 of Wands, you have the 2 of Wands. 2 of Wands, again, I feel like you need to realize that there are other ways of doing things. Again, it's funny that I said this in the collective, but actually you're the only sign that has had this message for the mid-monthly so far. So it's like a major focus for you, needing to realize that there aren't only 2 ways of doing things. It's like, it's funny, you know, I think that, you know, in the government we have 2 sides basically, and they only ever have like 2 solutions. But it's like, what if there's like other better solutions that nobody even talks about or thinks about, right? I really feel like it's a time. Again, we're probably going to see the breakdown of government because of Pluto and Capricorn, right? And there are other things that are going on. You know, is government going to disappear completely? I would say no, probably not. But I do feel like we're going to see a breakdown because people are going to come up with better ideas. And as I said in that video, the collective I did the other day, I think that's what the world needs right now most, is better ideas. And we need to say like, no, these people, they just like fight all day long and just yell at each other and like go on TV and do all this stuff. It's like, you know, we don't listen to them anymore. We have better ideas. That's where I feel like the world needs to get to, right? and we just like put them in a rocket ship and, you know, launch them into the sun or whatever. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Five of Wands. Five of Wands, a card of kind of conflict, but the Five of Wands and the Knight of Wands, I always say that the Five of Wands, to me, is a card I call Indiana Jones. To me, it represents going on some sort of crazy adventure. The Knight of Wands is a card of adventure, and if you go on the adventure, you will discover some treasure or some gold or something that's very valuable to you. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is something being dead, done, over with. Again, like I said, I feel like clearly there's a change coming in for you here. I don't even feel surprised by that Ten of Swords at all. I feel like you don't feel surprised by that Ten of Swords at all. So it's like, if something's coming to an end, you're like, oh yeah, of course this is coming to an end. Like I said, I feel like, you know, and if it's dealing with another person or if there's another side, it's like they want the same thing, you want the same thing. It's just not a surprise. With the Seven of Cups, you have the Queen of Swords. Why can't I think? I blame the pollen. The Queen of Swords, she finally sees things clearly. The Seven of Cups is kind of like a lack of clarity. It's being spoiled for choice or having too many options. So I feel like you finally see clearly like what the changes you need to make or the things you need to do in life. Six of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands, I feel like is saying try again. Again, if you're wondering, with that Six of Pentacles, if you're wondering like what to get started on, I would say it's something that has failed or something that didn't go the way you wanted it to. And I feel like this Nine of Wands is saying try again. Nine of Wands to me is like a card of swinging the bat as many times as you possibly can. With the Two of Wands, you have the King of Swords. You have the King and Queen of Swords. I do feel like some of you, again, are dealing with a person. You could be dealing with a person. You know, this could be a breakup, but I feel like you've already been through the breakup or the separation. This is like dealing with a difficult person. For others, I feel like it's saying, you know, King of Swords is a card of wisdom. It's like you have the wisdom with that Two of Wands to take the leap, to get out into the world and, you know, create something new, basically. And with the Empress, with your outcome, you have the Two of Cups. Definitely could be new love coming in for you. You know, if you're looking for love. The Two of Cups can also be you and your higher self. It can be you creating something that your higher self is like calling you to. And that's kind of what I feel like is going on here. Can we get like a final outcome here, Scorpio? You have the Hermit, needing to open up, very withdrawn energy. I do feel, I don't know, Mercury retrograde, whatever. I would just say, if you're feeling withdrawn, withdraw. It doesn't really matter, but I do feel a very withdrawn energy here. But I feel like you have a lot to share. And this could be in love, in business, whatever. And I feel like it's time to share. Middle row, Death card, you showing up in a very strong position. I really feel you're feeling like you're finding your place as well. I feel like not so left out. Those are the words that are popping into my head here, Scorpio. That's actually pretty crazy. I've never had that happen before, where it's like I feel not left out. That's the best. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like maybe you're finding your place. And bottom row, you have the Hangman. Could be a Pisces coming in for you. This to me would be enlightenment. I actually feel pretty good about this. I really feel you're finding a lot of answers. I feel like you're feeling enlightened. It's like these answers are what's probably providing this abundance that's coming in for you with that Roots of Abundance card. You know, again, that Roots of Abundance card is just the roots. It's like you have to nurture it. Again, Empress, you're going to have to put the work in. But I feel there's a lot of success coming in for you. I like this. This looks good to me. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your month.